Hey, Dan here. This is the first video in a mini-series about improvisation and harmony. Whilst the videos are mainly going to have a jazz focus, the concepts covered can be applied to any style of music and are particularly useful when writing music of your own. In this first lesson, I'm going to go over some basic harmony as it's the basis for everything to come. When talking about chords and chord progressions, it's common to use Roman numerals to describe them. Whilst this can seem quite confusing at first, it's really simple. Let's take a look at the piano. For this video, all examples are going to be in the key of C major. Starting with C, we're going to stack 2/3 on top of it, E and G. This gives us a C major triad. To create more complex chords, we can repeat this process, stacking more thirds to give us 7ths, 9ths, 11ths and 13ths. We'll cover that more in a later lesson. Because we are in the key of C, the C triad we just created is chord 1. If we move this shape up through the scale, we get all the other chords. Chord 2, chord 3, chord 4, chord 5, chord 6 and chord 7. Each of these chords has a unique characteristic. Chord 1 is major, chord 2 is minor, chord 3 is minor, chord 4 is major, chord 5 is major, chord 6 is minor and chord 7 is diminished. A diminished chord is just minor thirds stacked on top of each other. Unless otherwise stated, these chord characteristics are the same in any key. This is how it would sound in A flat. Out of these 7 chords, there are 4 which are particularly important. Chord 1 is the most important, as it's the tonic and home key in which the piece is written. The next most important is chord 5, as it wants to resolve to the tonic, chord 1. This is called the dominant. The next most is chord 4, as it is generally used to precede chord 5. As such, it is called the subdominant. Lastly, chord 6 is called the relative minor, and it can be used instead of chord 1. When writing music, we can put these chords together to form cadences. I like to think of cadences as musical punctuation. For example, chords 5 to 1 is a perfect cadence and is similar to a full stop. The phrase sounds complete. The opposite of a perfect cadence is an imperfect cadence and is any progression that ends in chord 5. Here are a few. Chord 1 to 5, chord 2 to 5, chord 3 to 5, chord 4 to 5, and lastly chord 6 to 5. The next is a plagal cadence and is chords 4 to 1. Like in a perfect cadence, it also sounds resolved. It is also known as an amen cadence, as it is found in lots of gospel and religious music. The last is an interrupted cadence and is chords 5 to 6. It is called such as it doesn't go where you expect, to chord 1. Instead, it goes to the relative minor, chord 6. Here are some examples in actual pieces.
Well, me, I fall in love with you every single day.
Using Roman numerals not only allows us to analyse chord sequences to see what's going on, but it also allows for easy transposition. Here, I'll take a common chord progression found in pop songs, chord 1, chord 5, chord 6 and chord 4, which in the key of C is C, G, A minor and F, and then use the Roman numerals as a formula to transpose it into, for example, the key of A flat. Chord 1, chord 5, chord 6 and chord 4, which is A flat, E flat, F minor and D flat. As a final note, when practicing these chords at the piano, it's very important to get familiar with the other 2 inversions. An inversion is just when we play the same 3 notes but in a different order. For example, if I play a root position C chord and move the C up an octave, gives me first inversion, and then if I move the E, the bottom note, up another octave, gives me second inversion, so G, C, E. This is really important because by using inversions it makes it much easier to go between different chords. For example, using the chord progression from earlier, instead of going I could start here on C, and then when I go to G, the nearest inversion is here, then going to A minor, the nearest inversion is here, and then going to F, I just have to move one finger. To practice this, at first pick two different chords, for example C and F. Start here on root position on C and try and find the nearest inversion of F. Then, once you're happy with that, find the next position of C and find the nearest position of F to that. And lastly, start on second inversion on C and find the nearest inversion of F to that. If you found this lesson useful, please tune in next week where I'll talk about blues form and how to improvise over a blues using a blues scale. Thank you.